Hello, history fans. Welcome back to 5 Point Historian. When you look at a medieval castle today, what do you see? You probably see a beautiful, romantic building where kings and queens lived happily. You might think of Disney movies. But I have to tell you the truth. You are looking at a giant machine of death. Every stone, every staircase, and every window in a castle was designed for one purpose: to kill the enemy. The architects of the Middle Ages were evil geniuses. Today we are going to explore 5 genius design tricks hidden in medieval castles. Before we enter the gate and trigger the traps, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us unlock the secrets of history. Now let's cross the drawbridge and see what is waiting for us. 1. The clockwise spiral staircase. The sword trap. Imagine you are a soldier attacking a castle. You have broken through the main door. You are running up the stairs to fight the lord of the castle in the tower. But suddenly, you realize something is wrong. You cannot use your sword. The geometry of war. If you visit any medieval castle in Europe, pay attention to the spiral staircases. Almost all of them turn in a clockwise direction. They turn to the right as they go up. This was not a fashion choice. It was a military tactic. In the Middle Ages, 90% of soldiers were right-handed. They held their sword in their right hand and their shield in their left hand. When an attacking soldier runs up a clockwise staircase, his right hand, the sword hand, is against the center pillar of the stairs. There is no space to swing the sword. The stone wall blocks his arm. The defender's advantage. However, for the defender coming down the stairs, the situation is the opposite. His right hand is on the outside of the curve. He has plenty of space to swing a sword. This simple design meant that one man at the top of the stairs could defeat 10 men coming up from the bottom. The real story: the Kerr family. There is a fascinating exception to this rule. In Scotland, there was a famous clan family called the Kerrs. The Kerr family was famous because many of their men were left-handed. Because they were left-handed, they built the staircases in their castles, like Ferniehears Castle, to turn the opposite way, counterclockwise. This meant that right-handed enemies trying to attack them were confused and disadvantaged, but the left-handed Kerr soldiers could swing their swords perfectly. It shows that in castle design, even the direction of a turn could mean life or death. 2. The trip step. A stumble in the dark. So you are surviving the spiral staircase. You are pushing forward. But the castle has another dirty trick waiting for your feet. It is called the trip step, the muscle memory trap. Human beings are creatures of habit. When we walk upstairs, our brain calculates the height of the steps. We don't look at our feet. We just walk using muscle memory. Medieval architects knew this. In many castle staircases, they would deliberately build one step that was different. Maybe it was 2 inches higher than the others, or maybe a little bit shorter. The domino effect. Imagine the scene. It is a dark night. The castle is under attack. The enemy soldiers are rushing up the stairs, screaming and running. They are heavy with armor. They run up step 1, step 2, step 3, and then their foot hits the trip step. Because the height is wrong, they catch their toe on the stone. They fall forward. In a narrow staircase, when the front man falls, he doesn't just fall alone. He falls backward onto the man behind him. This creates a domino effect. Suddenly, 10 soldiers are in a pile on the floor, unable to stand up. While they are confused and lying on the ground, the defenders can easily attack them. The real story: knowledge is power. This trick only worked on strangers. The people who lived in the castle knew exactly which step was the trick step. They walked up these stairs every day for years. They knew to lift their foot a little higher on the 12th step. It was a perfect home security system. If you heard someone falling down the stairs in the middle of the night, you knew it wasn't a family member, It was an intruder. It was a simple architectural trick that used the human brain against itself. 3. Murder holes. Death from above. Let's go back to the main entrance. The gatehouse was the strongest part of the castle, but it was also the most dangerous place to be. Let's say you managed to break the first wooden door. You find yourself in a small, dark stone corridor before the next door. You look up at the ceiling. You see holes. Not for ventilation. These holes are called murder holes. It is a scary name, but it is accurate. Soldiers hiding in the room above the gatehouse could look down through these holes and drop terrible things onto your head. The myth of boiling oil. In movies, you always see defenders pouring boiling oil on the enemy. In reality, oil was very expensive and rare. They wouldn't waste it on soldiers. Instead, they used things that were cheap and deadly. They threw heavy stones. They poured boiling water, which causes terrible burns. But the worst weapon was heated sand, the horror of hot sand. Why sand? Imagine you are a knight wearing a suit of metal armor. If someone pours boiling water on you, it slides off the metal. But sand is different. The defenders would heat sand in a fire until it was red hot. Then they dumped it through the murder holes. The tiny grains of burning sand would get inside the cracks of the armor. It would get stuck between the metal and the skin. There was no way to get it out. It would burn the soldier slowly while he danced in pain. The real story. The gatehouse trap. Many castles, like Bodiam Castle in England, have a long corridor with murder holes along the entire length. The design was to let a small group of enemies break the first door and then trap them in the corridor. Once they were inside, the death rain would begin from above. It was a kill box designed to cause maximum pain with minimum cost. I think I would rather stay outside the castle, wouldn't you? If you are enjoying this tour of medieval traps, please like the video and subscribe to 5 Point Historian. We have 2 more genius designs to discover. 4. The round tower's geometry saves lives. If you look at castles built in the early Middle Ages around the year 1000, the towers are usually square. But if you look at castles built later, around 1200 or 1300, the towers are round. Why did the shape change? Was it for style? No. It was because square towers had a fatal weakness. The weakness of corners. A square tower has corners. Corners are sharp. If a giant stone from a catapult hits the flat wall of a square tower, it hits with full force. The wall can shatter. Also, square towers have blind spots. If you are an archer standing on top of a square tower, you cannot shoot an arrow at the enemy who is hiding directly at the corner base. You have to lean over the edge, which is dangerous. The solution? The circle-round towers solved all these problems. First, they are stronger. If a catapult stone hits a round surface, it often glances off, bounces to the side. It doesn't absorb the full impact. Second, there are no blind spots. An archer can see every inch of the ground around a round tower. But the most important reason was to stop undermining. The real story. The Siege of Rochester, counters 1215. The most famous example of this happened at Rochester Castle in England. In 1215, King John was attacking the castle, which was defended by rebels. The castle had a massive square tower, the keep. The walls were too thick to break, so King John used miners. They dug a tunnel deep under one of the square corners of the tower. They propped up the tunnel with wooden beams. Then King John ordered them to bring in 40 fat pigs. Yes, pigs. They put the pigs in the tunnel and set them on fire. The pig fat burned incredibly hot. The fire burned the wooden beams and the tunnel collapsed. Because it was a square tower, the whole corner of the building fell down, and King John captured the castle. After this event, engineers realized that round towers were much harder to collapse because they didn't have corners to dig under. 5. The concentric defense, the onion strategy. Okay, For our final point, we have to look at the big picture. The best castles didn't rely on just one wall. They used a system called concentric defense. Think of it like a Russian doll or an onion. It is a castle inside a castle inside a castle. The kill zone. In a concentric castle, the outer wall is lower and the inner wall is higher. This looks nice, but the reason is deadly. If the enemy manages to climb over the first low wall, they are not inside the castle yet. They find themselves in an empty grassy area between the two walls. This area is called the ward or the kill zone. No escape. Now the enemy is trapped. They have the outer wall behind them. In front of them is the inner wall, which is much higher. The archers on the high inner wall can look down and shoot freely at the enemies trapped in the empty space. The attackers have nowhere to hide. The real story, Beaumaris Castle. The greatest example of this is Beaumaris Castle in Wales, built by King Edward I. It is often called the perfect castle. It is perfectly symmetrical. It has a low outer wall surrounded by a moat, water. Then it has a massive inner wall with huge towers. An attacker would have to cross the water, climb the first wall, survive the kill zone while being shot at from the high towers, and then try to climb the second wall. It was mathematically perfect. In fact, the design was so intimidating that no one ever really tried to attack it fully. The design itself won the war before the battle even started. It shows that the best weapon in the Middle Ages wasn't a sword, it was the mind of the architect. So the next time you visit a castle or see one in a movie, look closer. Don't just look at the pretty flags and the high towers. Look at the stairs. Which way do they turn? Look at the ceiling above the gate. Are there holes waiting for you? Look at the shape of the towers. You will realize that these buildings were not just homes. They were complex, brutal, and genius machines designed to protect the people inside and destroy the people outside. The medieval architect was a master of psychology, geometry, and warfare. Thank you for surviving this tour of medieval traps. I hope you learned something new today. Which of these designs do you think is the smartest? The clockwise stairs or the round towers? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading your thoughts. If you enjoyed unlocking these secrets, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to 5-Point Historian. Stay safe, watch your step on the stairs, and I will see you in the next video.